Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. Here we have Lewis on Eureka versus Rax on a punishing Maverick build. Eureka, one of my favorite decks in Legacy. Rax, one of my favorite new players coming to the store. Horizon Canopy into Noble Hierarch, a solid start for a Maverick list that's going to give 3 mana on turn 2, enabling many of the powerful creatures to come out a full turn earlier. Things like Knight of the Reliquary can not only set a really fast clock, but can also disrupt the Eureka deck as they can search up Caracas. A lot of tutoring ability available in green now, both Knight of the Reliquary and the Elvish Reclaimer. Plateau. Into Thalia, and that is a very awkward card to play around. In Hex Drinker, a little bit of inevitability mounting here. Basic Island, Basic Forest. Lewis's list heavier on Eurekas than the lists that I've played. It's actually running 3 copies of the card. He's a mana away from casting it here as Thalia pushes it all the way up to 5 mana. Practically an honest value for casting Gristlebrand at that point. 5, an awful lot. And Hex Drinker has him worried. Looks like Rax leveling up. Putting Lewis down to 12. Tropical Island adds to Lewis's mana. And Thalia really forces the creature side of things for many lines. You're not going to be able to, for example, Omniscience into Cunning Wish if you're tapped out. So realistically, you're looking for Eureka, Omniscience, cast your Emrakul, take your extra turn. That's really where you want to be. And 5 mana for Eureka. And actually should not be face down. Knight of the Reliquary, Scavenging Ooze. I think Lewis a little confused about the way that Eureka works versus Show and Tell there. You're just going to take turns putting stuff in, and he's just going to scoop it up. Yeah, so with Show and Tell, you're both going to select a card and then flip it face up. That's totally fine. With Eureka, you just put the cards in, and it goes back and forth until both players pass. So you can actually... there are barely some mini games where you could not put something in, hoping your opponent would put something in, and then on your next pass through, then you could elect to put something in based off of what they put in. But for the most part, you just put everything in. Both players are going to put whatever they want from their hands into the battlefield. And in that instance, realistically, you're going to want to get your Gristlebrand in and then cast your Emrakul and then go to your extra turn, win the game. That was not in the cards there for Lewis, despite getting down. Omniscience didn't have anything to go along with it in the face of Thalia, as she is a lot to deal with as a blue deck, particularly one that's looking to cast Release the Ants 20 or so times. That's a lot of extra mana. Though I suppose you can actually kill her with Release the Ants most of the time. It's a little tricky if you target her and then she's not there on resolution, for example, because of Karakas or an opposing Swords to Plowshares, like plowing their own creature. That will actually really mess stuff up as well. Yeah, Thalia's a problem magic card. Demands most of the time to be dealt with. And Rax mulling here. Lewis kept the opening 7. Land Lotus Petal Pass. Lewis fetching and potentially starting on turn 2 can represent lethal any turn. Show until only 3 mana. Show and Tell or Eureka into Omniscience. Often the best line. We'll see if Lewis agrees with that assessment. This is the final round of Swiss of our March 7th Legacy Open. We are in the middle of the shutdown from the coronavirus, COVID-19. Means an empty store here, only being used for making these videos and a few curbside pickups. And Eureka into Omniscience, into Noble Hierarch. Lewis passing. Rax playing 3 more lands off of it. Cunning Wish. And a Pyroblast on Omniscience. And we've got some gameplay now. Impulse. Rising Canopy being sacked to draw a card. Let's see if Rax also sacks that fetch land to slightly increase the probability of drawing another Red Blast. It is pretty marginal, but I think at this stage, kind of all in on it. Impulse is resolving. Pyroblast, the top card on the stack, targeting Omniscience, and now another Cunning Wish, and that should do it. Firemind's Foresight. Though it kind of depends what else is in the deck here. That Impulse has been used, so Firemind's Foresight's going to be able to grab a Brainstorm. What is that red card? Is that a Ancient Grudge? I'm not sure what that red card is. Let me know in the comments. And why is that in the main deck? Firemind's Foresight resolves. Now this Pyroblast responding with Brainstorm. If Lewis can put a expensive card on top of the library, Release the Ants, still doable. Force of Negation, hitting the Pyroblast, and now Shared summons Force of Negation, able to be cast off of Omniscience. And moving on to game number 3 here. So Pyroblast targeting the Omniscience, not quite enough, as Eureka nimble enough to play around on the stack. One of the things that I really like about the list more than, say, the Sneak and Show variants, though Sneak Attack is a very potent magic card as well, Omniscience does just so much in some of these tougher matchups. Particular against a lot of the white hate bears, things like Thalia, Containment Priest. Being able to just cast your Gristlebrand or your Emrakul is incredibly powerful. I was going to pause there. We'll see if this leads to any further mulliganing. If so, we'll edit that out. OBS has a new pause feature, which I've been enjoying quite a bit, being able to pause it during the shuffling, making Fast Effect even faster. Looks like Rax has just a ton of lands. Starting out with Noble Hierarch. Now, I didn't see much in the way of threats there. We'll see if it's going to be playing off the top of the deck time, or if there's anything mixed in those remaining 5. Lewis, Lotus Petal, briefly had down a different land. Looks like there was a tropical island in hand, and it's going to be a Ponder. And Cindervines. That is a legit magic card that requires Force of Willing, recent printing. Not only can it go after Omniscience, it also makes all of those incremental cards, Ponders, Brainstorms, just that much more dangerous. Show and Tell here into Night of Autumn. Night of Autumn, but he's got the Cunning Wish in hand. Oh, that is what makes this deck so good. This should be a wrap. So Rax actually has the trump card, but Lewis has the trump to the trump, able to grab Impulse, Brainstorm, and Cunning Wish. He's going to be able to dig 7 cards, get the highest casting cost card, put it on top of his library, and then kill with Release the Ants. That is going to be the plan. Let's see if it works out. Night of Autumn's triggered ability on the stack. Worst case scenario, he can almost certainly use the Cunning Wish to go get some type of stifle ability. Trick Bind or Disallow, or there's a bunch of different things that they might run. Brainstorm now. Impulse has resolved. Brainstorming now in response to Knight of Autumn's disenchantability. Now the Cunning Wish. And I'm not sure what counter that might have been. Disallow. And now that Knight of Autumn is chilled out a little bit. Ponder happening. Intuition. And that should do it. Grabbing Emrakul. Cunning Wish. And Gristlebrand. No great options here. I guess you give Lewis a Gristlebrand. Cunning Wish just goes to grab Shared Summons, gets them both back. Gristlebrand at least can theoretically whiff. I mean, they're going to be able to draw 14 cards and cast any of them for no mana. The functional fumble from there is pretty low. I'd imagine you have more of a chance of your opponent committing some type of game rule violation than them actually having the cards legitimately fumble. And Lewis has earned his spot here in the top 8. Taking down a very prepared Rax, who had the Knight of Autumn and a whole bunch of other spicy cards in that punishing Maverick list. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.